Hey everyone! In this video, I'm going to be doing a Gothic vase, and I'm going to be doing it in 5 steps, making it 3D printable, and I'm going to be doing this in Blender. And we are starting right now! Hi everyone, welcome to my show, Nathan's 3D Factory. My name is Nathan Adams. In this show, I do Blender 3D models, and I export them for 3D printables. If you like my stuff, make sure to go to shembol.com for all my other video series. And also, subscribe for more, and make sure to hit that notification bell for every time that I give you a new video. You can also check out my stuff by going to facebook.com/ShembolStudio if you want to give me a like on Facebook. You can follow me also at ShembolStudio on Twitter. And finally, you can follow me at ShembolStudio on Instagram as well. You are watching Nathan's 3D Factory. Alright, we're in the default Blender scene, and what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be putting in a DXF object here. So I created this drawing in AutoCAD and then brought it into Blender. So now we have this nice object where we have a template for us to work off of. So I'm rotating this object 90 degrees about the x-axis first of all. And then I'm going to move it, I'm going to transfer the origin, do all that stuff. And then I also made a duplicate, so I want to have it so that I have the top view right there going on if we're looking at the top view anyway. So I'm going to be doing this on the bottom and on the top of this. The base and the top are going to be the same size on here. Okay, so there we go. I'm also resetting origins for each of these objects so that I can have them properly placed. They'll all be in the same place. Alright. And then I'm also going to delete any extraneous geometry on any of these objects. So right here, I deleted the top view off of that part of it. So multiple instances is what I got. Okay. Do the same. Alright, let's see. There we go. And I see that I screwed up on that. So I ended up doing a little bit extra geometry off the base of that. So I went back and I decided to make sure that I just had the top view deleted off of that, not the bottom vertices. So these are all curves right now, so I'm not going to perfectly snap to these or anything while I'm doing this, and I want to keep them as curves. There we go. So now I have that at the bottom, and I'm duplicating for one for the top. Now, I'm going to take this, I'm going to rotate it about the z-axis, 90 degrees, doing a copy. And that should take care of all my reference DXF stuff. And then I'm going to save it, and I'm going to go on to the next step. So I got that. I did one previously. I'm going to save over that. I want to make sure I was doing stuff right. All right, now on to step 2. All right. Now, step 2, I'm going to take that default cube. We'll go into edit mode. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to start sizing things up. There we go. Okay, now I can use that where I'm snapping to all those points on those DXFs. So it's really nice. So I made sure to go to vertex snap mode for that. And as I'm doing these, I'm only doing these along certain axes. So I'll either isolate those so that I'm not including the Z-axis when I'm scaling, or I will do just the Z-axis or the Y-axis depending on where I'm going. So in essence what I'm doing is kind of like a 2.5D snap. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm insetting some faces and extruding upward. So I extruded upward on that, and I'm going to inset there, and then I'm going to scale, not include the Z-axis as I'm doing that scaling, and then once I get that scaled, I'm extruding upward. I'll extrude upward, scale inward, and inset. Okay, I'll keep going for that. So I have a few steps on this. I'll extrude upward continually. So I'm snapping to the vertices on those DXF curve objects. There we go. So right now I'm just kind of doing the body of that. So I took care of the foot, the base. Continue with the body. Now this time I'm not going to extrude, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate. As I duplicate, I'll bring that upward. So now, I'm going to do the same thing there. I'm going to inset, except I'm going to go the other way. So it's more like an outset, I guess you can call it. And now I'm just examining to make sure that I don't have any extra faces inside this mesh. It's always very important when you're doing 3D printables. So I deleted that, made sure, yeah, it was good, so I just undid that delete. And then we went with that. Okay. I got those things. Okay, just examining it to make sure that I'm good there. And then in a moment, we're going to go to the next step. Save that. And now on to step 3. Alright, step 3, I'm going to delete that face. I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. And now I'm going to take those edge loops and I'm going to bridge them. There. Now, on this object, I have this so that there's a curve on it. And what I'm doing is I'm adding some loop cuts here. I'm going to scale them inward. I'm going to make sure not to include the z-axis as I'm doing these scales. I'm sure it probably wouldn't make a difference because it's all in the same z-axis anyway, but you know what? It's better to be safe about it. That's one thing that I've learned in my experience as I've been doing these is that, you know, you always want to take extra measures to make sure that something screwy doesn't happen. So I'm just scaling them inward. So I could do where I'm doing like a smoothness subdivision as I'm doing this, but I didn't want to do that because I tried that a few times and I wasn't liking the results. It wasn't quite coming out as accurately as I wanted it. So I am going and manually scaling these down. And it should be small enough that it's not going to cause any noticeable like bumps or weird things like that when I'm doing the actual 3D print. So now what I'm doing is I am adding some loop cuts so that now there's something down the middle of the object. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now I'm just going around and looking at that. And I'm going to create these other loop cuts. And I'm going to be working on these loop cuts to where I'm going to be adding in kind of the arch element here. So I'm going to be doing some merging to make sure that these are correct. There we go. So now as you can see, I'm doing those vertices so that they all merge to the corner. Try and delete any extraneous geometry. Doing the same there as well. So I'm doing a few of these at a time. Okay, continuing to go around. Got a few more of those there. Oh yeah, make this thing beautiful. Okay. Alright, still looking around on this, making sure that I'm good with that. Few more things I'm doing here. Alright. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm just getting rid of some of the triangles. And ultimately what's going to end up happening is that now we have those vertices that are kind of toward the top there. Merging them toward the center. So it's going to come to a point. There we go. And then turning those triangles into quads. This is, again, some of my old school Blender artist stuff coming into me here. I know I can do n-gons, but I don't like those. I end up like seeing that they kind of export weird when I'm taking them to other video or other 3D file formats. Just going around. There's not much more of this one to do, and then we'll get on to step 4. So what I'm doing here is that I'm scaling in some of these vertices, and I'm just trying to match them up with the drawings there. And since I'm now to a point where it's a little more artistic interpretation on it, just continuing to do those. I'll scale these in, and then once I'm done with scaling these in, I'm going to go on to step 4. Same through these. So step 4 came a little bit long for me here. Mostly it's just dealing with loop cuts and doing that kind of stuff. Or step 3, I should say, not step 4. I haven't gotten there yet. I think I know this stuff by now. So this one's a bit of an involved step here, but we're going to stick with it. Okay. So a lot of it is just, you know, getting those loop cuts and making sure that all those vertices match up with the drawing that came from AutoCAD. Yeah. Okay, same thing there. Just want to make sure that they're matched up with those vertices up top. So I did get those matched up when I was doing snapping on there. There we go. So we still have quite a bit more. And by the way, yes, this is at 2 times the speed. This is the most that that my broadcasting program would allow me to do on there. I could probably do time lapses when I'm doing these, but anyway. There it is. So now, that's the end of step 3. Now on to step 4. Okay. Step 4, what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to just do one of these sides. I'm not going to do everything. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to extrude those faces inward and actually do a few different methods for it. So I got that. So extrude inward. So I tried a few different ways of making this part happen. It's a bit more complex. We get some beautifully satisfying results. So there we go. Now up here, what I want to do is I want to have these all flat. So that's precisely what I'm doing, is I'm flattening out that face by making sure that they all scale to the same point on one of the axes. On this one, I can't remember if I'm doing the X or the Y axis on this, but I'm scaling at 0 for each of these, or snapping them to 0 at that point. So they're all exactly the same coordinate. So I'm doing these for all these different loop cut, these different edges right here. There. And then finally, the cherry on top of the sundae there. It's just the one vertex right there. And now we are going to do these edges. We're just going to try a few different things to see if maybe collapsing the edges would do it. That didn't do it. That also didn't do it. So, let's see this. Nope, that didn't do it So now what? Oh, yeah. Now we're thinking, huh? So all we're doing is merging vertices there. And as I was doing this, I realized I was making some end guns. So that's going to be changed in a moment. So, one thing about this is that there's a lot of experimentation going on. As I do this, there's always new ways to go and try and find these to build them right. Okay, so I built a new edge loop there, looks like. Okay. So I'm still trying to work through those items there. Okay, so I ended up deleting those faces. You can tell I was tired of that workflow. I'm extruding in for that part. Okay, got that in. Oh, and look at this. I didn't get it extruded inward like I wanted to. Now it's time to fix that part. Yeah, because I want this extruded inward so it's entirely flat the entire way down. There we go, now it's flat all the way down. Anyway, so there's one of those. I got 3 more to go. And I didn't want to go with that, so I'm going to go on to step 5 now. Show you the end result of that part of it. Now, step 5, I did all those sides, and you know, since this is a vase, it would be really a good idea if we had a hole in the top there to put our plants into. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, so that's what we're doing right now. So I got 2 circles drawn here on the top. One for kind of an outer edge that I'm going to be using for kind of like a drainage spot. So I'm going to let it like have a little bit of slope going downward. So I'm matching a circle up to that. So there we go. I'm going to make an inner circle as well, as you can see on the drawing once we get to that part. But right now I'm just taking care of these other things so that we have our outer circle done. I'm going to use a command to sphere once I get that all done. Set it to 1 so it's a perfect circle as far as Blender can do it for me. It's been one of those geometric retopology tools that I've really enjoyed, is to sphere. Taking all those items. Go. All right. And now I'm making a nice little pizza pie here. In. Make sure I got these. I think I missed a couple right there. There's one right at the one part there. Haven't gotten there yet, so I'm kind of making a spoiler for what I will be doing. Okay. But remember how I said I didn't like to leave any n-gons in here? I'm staying true to that by adding these loop cuts. There we go. See, I told you I'd get that one eventually. I like to use quads as much as possible, but sometimes I just need some tries. If at first you don't succeed, try again, huh? Alright, now, I have this inner circle that I just added. Now, as I was doing this, I did get some feedback from some people that was a really tiny spot. That you'd maybe get one flower in there, so I decided to enlarge this. But I'm going to extrude downward with this. There we go. Put it down to that level. There. Now what I've decided to do is that I've decided to take these, I'm scaling them outward. And this I did at 1.5, I think, excluding the z-axis as I did this. So we're going to scale that outward, 1.5. And oh, I'm looking at this now. That ended up hitting the floor. I do not want that. So I'm going to exclude those faces, and I am going to bring this up. There we go. So yeah, I did give this a larger hole for some more plant life to go into. There we go. Alright, just examining it to make sure I like it. You'll notice I do that a lot. Anyway, so there we go. I just got out of edit mode. I'm going to save that. And then we're going to quit for there, and I'm going to export that to an STL. Now I'm going to make this one available on my Shapeways site as well. So I'm also renaming this so that I have it properly named for my Shapeways site. And now I'm done there. So anyway, that is my Gothic vase. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you leave comments. And also, if you have any requests that you want to make of me, do a 3D print for something you'd like designed, you let me know in the comments below, or you can email me on the email link that I provide. I do these for free on this show, so you let me know. So for right now, that's what I'm going to be doing. Is I'm going to be doing free stuff. I'll be taking any requests that you want. Thank you so much for watching this show, and I hope that you enjoyed.